Thank you for joining us tonight. 90,000. That is the number of active missing person cases in the United States right now. People that you may never have heard of before, from different backgrounds and different races, thousands of families searching for loved ones. And tonight we're continuing our mission here on NewsNation Prime to shine a light on each of these stories. And there are a lot of them. Tonight's case begins with something many of us have experienced at some point in our own lives: adventure. A young woman seeking a new start on the other side of the country in California. Lauren Cho, 30 years old, made new friends, got a new job, and then Lauren vanished. And months later, nothing. It has puzzled investigators and those closest to her. We had a lot of questions about this case, and as you learn the details about Lauren's final days near LA, where she was living, and what those who know her best are saying tonight, we think you're going to have some questions of your own as well. Let's go to correspondent Nancy Liu. She is live near Joshua Tree, California tonight with Lauren's story. Nancy.
And Marnie, today marks 100 days since Lauren Cho was reported missing from an Airbnb compound, which is down this dirt road in Yucca Valley. Despite multiple searches and increased interest in her case, her disappearance remains a mystery.
None of it makes sense to me. None of it makes sense to any of us.
Those who know Lauren Cho well are desperate to know where she may be. Len Girardi went to high school with Lauren in New Jersey, and they later worked together, tattooing and piercing.
All of her friends and family know that she wouldn't have just walked away from her life. She wouldn't have just evaporated. She wouldn't have just disappeared like this.
But the 30-year-old, also known as Elle, has disappeared, and there's been no sign of her since June 28th. That's when her ex-boyfriend reported Lauren missing around 5 p.m., telling authorities they had argued 3 hours earlier and she left their Airbnb compound. Later, in a newspaper interview, he said there was a 10-minute window and she evaporated.
She basically just walked away with the clothes she had on. No cell phone, no personal items, no money, nothing like that.
It was about 110 degrees that day. Lauren was said to be last seen at the remote intersection of Yucca and Benmar in Yucca Valley. In an exclusive interview, the housekeeper at the compound expresses doubt that there was any foul play on the property.
People show up from different countries. Whatever group is there, however they are, everybody gets along. But
nothing violent.
Oh, no, never. Never, never.
Tracy Cloud has worked at the compound for nearly 5 years. She believes she saw Elle while at work on the morning she went missing.
Evidently, they started drinking in the daytime, and she had drank too much, so Cody, when she wanted to leave, Cody wouldn't let her take the vehicle, and evidently that's when she got upset.
Lauren and her ex were a couple when they traveled across the country earlier this year, targeting the Joshua Tree area for a fresh start. She expressed dreams of opening a food truck. Lauren's early start was largely focused on singing and performing.
Set me free, leave me be. I don't want to fall another moment.
At Westminster Choir College, she became close friends with Caitlin Borden.
One of her favorite things to do is find little gifts for people that are like silly, small things that'll make them smile.
Up until late June, the two friends usually shared memes every day and talked every week. And Caitlin heard all about the compound where Lauren was staying.
She had asked me to go visit her out on this Airbnb compound. And I was like, I'm a little bit scared about going to the desert in the middle of summer. I'm very pale.
It is more than sun exposure that the compound is known for. According to the Airbnb listing, there is an open and liberal environment at this evolving collection of vintage trailers. The owner describes it as adults only, and clothing is optional.
They're all musicians or artists, so they're all very mellow. They're like a different breed of people, they really are.
Lauren is known to be artistic and fun.
Her purse that she carries around is just like a rubber chicken.
The sheriff's office has its special investigation unit on the case. And there have been multiple air and ground searches over the past 3 months, including at the compound. Authorities are appealing to people who were in this area in late June.
You don't know what you don't know, so if you have anything that you think might be helpful, we absolutely want to hear from you.
Go ahead and do the right thing and come forward and talk about maybe what they noticed or saw, and let's get the real narrative of what happened that day.
Now, the family is maintaining a public Facebook page. It is called Find Lauren Cho, but they are not doing interviews. We did reach out to that ex-boyfriend, and he responded immediately with a no comment. But Marnie, we should point out that perhaps he's been instructed to respond that way by a lawyer or even the investigators. So we certainly don't know on that front.
A mystery, Nancy. So what are police saying about this compound, and are they continuing to look for clues there tonight?
Well, we can tell you that authorities aren't saying much at all. We do know that they searched that compound. We don't know what they found, but they do say that there is no evidence of foul play at this point. But the compound itself is known publicly, openly on Airbnb as this open, free-loving place. There are few rules there, and according to the housekeeper that we talked to, few clothes as well. But she insisted that there's no criminal activity there.
The other thing that caught my attention, Nancy, was this argument apparently between Lauren and her ex-boyfriend. Do we have any idea what they were arguing about?
Yeah, authorities aren't saying what they're arguing about, but as we heard exclusively from that housekeeper, she said there was a lot of day drinking going on that day. And according to her, Lauren wanted to walk away. She wanted to drive away, actually, and her ex-boyfriend did not want to give her the keys, and that's when she walked off. And again, that's all we know at this point. And also, the ex-boyfriend had expressed that Lauren had been dating again. And we heard that from the housekeeper as well. And there are indications or speculation that perhaps she was picked up by someone she had met that was new in her life.
Every piece of information could be a clue into where Lauren is tonight. Nancy Liu, live for us in California.